One and we are live. Hey
Hello!
everyone. I'm Corpulent Geek, and that is,
Sci-Fi Christina?
and we are here today to talk about Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. on our as of yet unnamed vodcast.
Vodcast.
Oh no!
Ah!
Ding dang nabbit!
You did it.
I did it. Anyway, yeah. So we don't have a name yet. We're gonna need one of those because we fell behind 8 whole episodes on Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. I didn't realize that we're that deep into the season already.
Wow. Especially because they just started in December?
Yeah, but
Nice.
I went and looked. I trust IMDb enough to give us the right number of episodes. So yeah. So the first thing is we need a name.
Yes.
But what are some of the ones we've been toying with?
Son of Coal. Vodcast.
The Son of Coal vodcast,
Yeah.
the Coal cast,
Coalcast. Vodcast of Coal.
vodcast of Coal.
We have a thing for Phil.
Yeah, I definitely like Phil. There's all the levels. I would really love to name it Level Pi, if it wasn't with that would make it impossible for people to search, because there's like the level 7 vodka podcast and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
Pi. Anywho, so today
Pie.
we are mainly going to discuss this last episode because we're so far behind. If we did something for the whole season, it would be hours and hours. So,
Yeah,
and we
we
just
can
want to
talk.
get the ball rolling. Theoretically, and that's one of my favorite words, after Star Trek Discovery wraps up, which we have lots of other podcasts. You click on links somewhere. I'll try and include some somewhere. That's our primary show that we love, and we do a weekly vodcast on that. That's going to wrap up in, sadly, 4 weeks. So after that, we'll be able to run long and hard on Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. On Tuesday nights, we'll do a live show talking about last week's episode. So, where were we at the start of this week's episode, my dear?
This week's episode started where Coulson and the gang were inbound to the last major chunk of Earth.
Oh yeah,
To
spoilers.
the surface. Well, yeah, that's understood, right? We're doing a
I would
recap
hope
of
so. Yeah.
of an episode in the middle.
Well, but I was just being thoughtful for all our fans.
Yay! So they were getting ready to crash land on this piece of rock because there were people on the surface who were surviving, unbeknownst to the Kree, who were running or enslaving the last remnant of humanity that was surviving in an underground bunker called the Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
We had just met Robin, who is an Inhuman with the gift of foresight.
Re-met Robin.
We re-met Robin, yeah. We
Technically
saw her again. She was a little girl in previous seasons, and then so now she is an old woman because she got there the long way around, and that's about it. Cassius. I don't know why. I've never seen his name written out.
Better.
But I've never seen his name written out yet. I just said Cassius. Cassius is getting ready to hunt them down. He's sending his crazy minion after them.
And Agent May was rescued last week by some of the survivors before a gravity storm came to get them.
Yeah.
So this week seems to be the crux week of like finally answering a lot of the BS that's been going on this season. I call it BS. It's not really BS, but the plot. That's been going on this season because they've made it seem like Quake is the destroyer of worlds. And
Although technically it would be Destroyer of World.
Well, yeah. That's true. But I don't know.
I guess
anyway.
once you do one, the potential is there to destroy others.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was what was going to drive the bidding. Was
True.
them being like, we'll just be bringing you around and threatening planets.
Yeah. And so, because one of the guys had video of her last known time that she was seen, and then It was all very nebulous.
It was,
We
you know what?
know.
I meant to say this last night. It's about as plausible that she destroyed the Earth as Michael Burnham started the war with the Klingons.
Oh, come on! Now we're crossing the streams too much.
Sorry, but it just felt the same way. It was like very much they heaped all of this, guilt or like cause on her shoulders, and it there isn't definitive. Like they didn't have a video of her,
Yeah.
pointing her hands down at the ground and grunting really hard and the planet exploding. Like that would have been definitive, but all they had was this like her name was Quake, the Earth split apart, ergo
Yeah, I even
Quake
think
killed the Earth.
I even think it could be a little bit less because like Daisy's like, there's no way I could have done this. I'm not anywhere near that powerful. So she's just kind of brushing it off. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I called her Daisy without any problem.
Yeah,
Hate that
it's
name.
been a couple of seasons now.
Yeah.
When I was going back and doing some research, like Sky was coming up, and I was like, oh, that's right, she was
Yeah.
Sky.
Yeah, but that's a terrible name too. But anyway, so last week's episode, they kind of dropped the hint of what we really think ended up destroying the planet. I am not going to get the name right.
Gravitron.
Gravitron?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I keep wanting to say gravitonium.
Well, because they found gravitonium, and that's what they were using to produce the artificial gravity.
Okay.
Was gravitonium, and that was when you were like, Gravitron.
Yeah. So most likely Quake was trying to defeat something that ended up causing the planet to split apart.
Sure.
And even without the last couple lines of this episode, it seemed fairly certain how they were going to end up saving the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Because our new hero Flint, our new Inhuman Flint,
conveniently named Flint.
Has the ability to take chunks of Earth and merge them together into a ball and then control them.
Yeah.
So they got to kind of jam Flint into the middle of the Earth and be like, hey, keep all this stuck together, because he's demonstrated his power before. And every time he's demonstrated his power, all the little rocks in the area come together to form one rock and go do something.
Yeah, I especially like that. Like, hey, he can control rock, so he could clearly just throw chunks of rock across the room.
But
no. I must gather them into one thing. And they weren't just always balls. Sometimes they were projectiles. But I must gather pieces and then throw them. And it was like, I believe Flint is the rifle on the wall.
Yeah. I just hope that his power also goes to keeping chunks of rock that are currently together.
Yes.
Because they're still going to jack stuff up if the Earth breaks apart a little bit and then comes back together.
Yeah.
But, what's a little destruction?
But it's a comic.
They
book universe.
totally destroyed New York City, and that's all cleaned up now. So, whatever.
I mean, they bitched about it in every other show after that.
Yeah.
I can't wait until they've bitch about the planet almost cracking underneath them.
Yeah, Coulson's definitely going to need to sign the Sokovia Accords. But, technically he was still doing good. But anyway, we digress. Because we're trying to keep this short today, too. And we're already at 9 minutes, so. But it's all good.
So.
Yes. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I just had a thought. Because I was thinking of what movies were coming out. This I keep calling it.
We're not going to, I don't think we're going to tie into anything.
Black Panther comes out in February, and then Infinity Wars comes out in May.
Yeah, but they've clearly demonstrated that they're unwilling to really directly tie anything into anything.
All right.
I think they've set it up that the rest of this season is going to be like they're about to travel back in time, yes. Back in time and then like relive the part where the Earth gets destroyed, and so we're going to watch them go through it once. They've shown that they've gone through it other times, maybe, I don't know. Leo seemed to think that they did, but
I felt like he was just frustrated.
Yeah, I think he was frustrated, and he was assuming that they've done it.
The possibility, since this is about time travel, is the possibility is that they did do it more than once.
Yeah,
but I don't feel like they may have.
Yeah, he think like that's the best case, is that they just keep looping and doing it, that you can't really ever change it. But we're of course going to find out that they can, because otherwise
this would be.
Well, it'd be a hell of a way to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
And then the MCU would be like, we're kind of hosed. But so before we forget about it, I want to throw you under the bus nicely
I know.
and have you talk about the tearjerker moment last
Oh,
night.
yeah, I really did like the way they showed us. So we were seeing, since we met or re-met Robin, a lot of this episode dealt with her visions and how she kind of experiences time because she's constantly remembering things that happen in the future. Time doesn't kind of like work the same way in her brain as it does for us. It's not very linear. So she'll remember that she needs to tell someone something, but it's never the right time. She'll be telling them something that's going to happen in the future, like it happened in the past, and so a lot of the other members of the team got frustrated with her. But for some reason, so in these flashbacks, we're kind of watching them live out how the timeline worked if after they went into the future. So they went into the future and they saw the planet had cracked apart and humans had been reduced to this small population being run by the Kree and they're living in the lighthouse. So we are seeing flashbacks along that timeline. Well, apparently May has adopted Robin because her mom didn't make it out of what seemed to be like the initial destruction. Um, and I guess I just kind of liked because the way they were like bouncing around and showing us things is she often was like referencing mom or saying mom, and people were dismissing so much of what she was saying that it seemed like they were like, oh, she keeps asking for her mother, but her mother died. But then at the end, as they were tying this up,
Yeah, that was nice.
we find out that she actually had been calling May mom because she had adopted her, basically.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful.
Yeah, that.
No, I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, she's getting.
Nerds. It was just wonderfully done.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, there we go.
It was a tender moment in a lot of this because last episode was very. It was very action packed. There was a lot of killing, and there were the Kree were being
the axe gun is back.
Yeah, because the axe gun is back.
Yeah.
And this one, like, it was counterpoint with that because that was the other plot line that was going on is that Mac and Flint and Mac and Yo-Yo had stayed behind with Flint on the lighthouse because Flint wants to use his powers for good to help his people. And so Max and Yo-Yo stayed behind, and they had to go and find the cache of weapons and tech that Fitz had hidden back in the past. And of course, that cache of tech is on the level that's infested by the alien roaches, because that's how this works. So they do go and they get it, and he had stashed his axe gun there, and he was like, yeah. And so then there's a lot of action and violence with the roaches trying to clear them out and save the humans. So like counterpoint to that are these tender scenes with May and Robin and trying to figure out what's going on there. So I really did kind of like
they're playing with your emotions,
the balance there, and I think they did a fantastic job with that. And it showed a side of May you never see, like of all of the people on the team. Like if you were to point to one of them to become a mother figure, I don't think it would have been May.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it's weird how they do the wibbly wobbly stuff with her because she is encountering the older Robin now who tells her, yeah, you're going to adopt me.
Yeah.
There, so that definitely makes it easier for May to broach that and all, because like I don't think May would do that the first time through without that.
Well, but the understanding is that she did do it the first time through. Unless Fitz is right and they've done this more than once, like if they do loop back, then because they're going to stop the destruction of the Earth, so hopefully her mom never dies.
Right.
So May would never have been told that she was going to adopt Robin. She did it by herself. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, you're wrong.
No, what are you saying?
I'm saying that every time she experienced that is a time that May had gone back in time. Every time May adopted the little girl was a time that May went back in time. The first time through, I don't know how what's her name survived, but it's all very timey-wimey stuff.
I know. I feel like you're making it more wibbly wobbly than it needed to be.
Oh,
but I don't know. I found that was pretty cool. I really did enjoy.
Yeah, no matter what. You can't think about time travel too much because it just makes it go.
And I love time travel. That's the thing. But maybe it's because I tend to simplify it. Like I just like ignore the things that really bend your head. I'm like, nah, I'll just ignore that.
Whatever.
Because I enjoy the other parts of it.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're not taking the Zephyr and just flying it around the sun real fast. Yeah, that'll get the job
Different
done too.
universe.
Yeah. So yeah, they got our new one of our new characters, Deke, is also like all on board with the team now
Yeah.
because he was hoping to see his father, and so the big guy that's there that killed his dad
Yeah.
must have just recently killed his dad, right?
Why is that?
Well, because they had a recording of
His dad's voice.
his dad's voice that was taken just a few days before that. And it was like an active recording of like, hey, Virgil, we haven't talked to you in a couple days. Hope you're okay.
Was it an active recording?
Yeah, I thought it was. Or maybe
I
was
thought
it
was a
just
recording.
like a beacon?
Yeah.
Ah, all right.
Yeah. Like he recorded it and was like, hey, we haven't heard from you. Check in. And then left it to play until Virgil checked in.
Okay.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the Voss was a bad guy.
Voss is his name?
I think Voss.
Man, you're good with names. I
Sometimes-
was just like, big guy, big dude.
Sometimes I am, and sometimes I am not. It really depends on why it sticks. Because I think originally were calling him Boss. That's what I thought.
Oh.
And so as I listened more, I realized that they were using it as a name. And so then I like listened in, and I think they were saying Voss.
Okay.
Voss.
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 All right. Yeah, so far overall with the season we've definitely been pleased.
Yeah, I liked this because the show would have gotten stale if they hadn't done something as drastic as this.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been changing it up a lot.
Exactly. Like they went into the framework last season, which
Well,
was
last season they had 3 different things go on. Last season was Ada and the framework and Ghost Rider, wasn't it?
no. Ghost Rider was the season before.
Really?
Yeah.
So last season was just the framework?
Was Ada and then the framework.
Ada and then the framework.
Yeah.
Well, but Ghost Rider came back to destroy Ada. Are you sure last season wasn't also Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure now.
Well, but okay.
I think he came back to help them, but I don't think he was. Yeah.
We're smart.
I don't think he was the active.
No, season 4, Ghost Rider, the Ghost. It starts off with Ghost Rider.
Wow. How many episodes did they do last year?
A lot.
And then they did the framework at the end?
There was an episode called Hot Potato Soup last year.
Hot potato soup.
Hot potato soup.
Wow, so that was a lot. So they did. So Ada had taken control in the beginning, right? But they didn't know because the life model decoys, the LMDs were in play, but they didn't know about it, and that was the discovery up until like the mid-season, and then they ended up when they discovered it all, then they ended up in the framework,
Right.
and the second half was the framework,
Right.
and later on top of that was the Ghost Rider.
Right. See, we ended up going backwards anyway.
Well, you kind of got to. So anyway,
Just a little bit.
that was good, but it was.
This is drastically
different, and that's what I liked about it. After the framework, because the framework is kind of like mirror universe type stuff, and I know I'm crossing streams again, but it's interesting because it's them playing a different version of themselves.
Yeah.
So I feel like they had done that,
and they kept it to the right length of time.
Exactly.
Too,
it wasn't an entire season. It was. So they did that, and so now. Yeah, I remember at the end of last season thinking, where are they going to go from here? Because if they just went back into the normal universe and then it was like the next big bad is this, and that would have been, I think, a little tired. So I think this, when he woke up and he was in space, it was like, well then.
If anything, there's a chance that you were earlier you were talking about tying into the movies. If anything, them going back and stopping literally the destruction of the Earth. If S.h.i.e.L.D. does that, that's the best way to get them back into everyone's good graces. Because there's been lots of back and forth, and like they're trying to get hunted down now by General who got shot in the head but isn't dead.
Talbot. That's
hey,
right.
Look, she is name girl.
Yeah, I do sometimes happen.
So if they come back and they literally save the planet, it's going to be like, all right, you guys are cool. You can come on in. And be back out in the open again, so that way that gets the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., not the TV show because we know that won't happen, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. involved in the last Infinity War movie, and have them being a more public face
Mm-hmm.
again and able to help, with all the people that are going to die.
People gonna die.
That sounded a little too Jar Jar like.
No.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that, and I mean, I really did it. It brought the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. storyline, I think, into the broader universe. Like they seem to be out in space, even though they're technically kind of on Earth.
Yeah.
So it was kind of both. And I did like that. The mask that Deke had was very Star-Lord like, and like, so there's definitely elements of the Marvel universe that have been continued and pulled in, and then obviously the Kree are here and they're big bad guys, which I enjoy having, because we had seen Kree before early on in the series, and now they were back for this, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. As much as I know we did not get into Inhumans in the beginning of this year, and it really did kind of set up, and I am wondering, I guess we need to do our due diligence in figuring out where Inhumans is supposed to be going with this. Like,
it's not going anywhere.
Really?
The Inhumans TV show? Yeah, they're not having a second season of that.
The question is, did it end in a way that, like, when they go back in time, when our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. go back in time, do they need to, like, merge in some way?
No idea. I don't think anyone cares. I think Marvel's completely happy to be like, all right, that was a failed experiment, and we don't care anymore because we got X-Men back under the fold. So that was the whole point of that anyway. So they're like, haha.
All right.
That's just my thought.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, they're doing good work.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
So hopefully we'll be back in the thing, so we'll have something for episode 9 for you guys. Any questions, please hit us up on the Twitters or in comments on this video. And
recommend names.
Yeah, recommend names for us. And please, let's not be trollsy. Let's do realistic. They can be silly, but realistic silly. All right. Thank you, anyone. Once again, I'm Corpulent Geek.
Sci-Fi Christina.
And we will see you next week.